The discovery, the wind howled across the frozen wasteland of northern Siberia, carrying with it the bite of winter that had claimed this land for over 4 months. Dr. Alina Kowalski pulled her thermal suit tighter as she watched the excavation. Teamwork below. The dig site looked like a wound in the earth, carved deep into the permafrost by heated laser cutters and molecular disruptors. What they had found 3 days ago changed everything. Alina checked her tablet again, studying the readings that had brought them here. The magnetic anomaly stretched for nearly 2 kilometers underground, perfectly geometric in shape. No natural formation could create such precise measurements. The metal composition readings showed alloys that shouldn't exist on Earth, elements that belonged in theoretical physics textbooks rather than buried beneath Arctic ice. Dr. Kowalski, you need to see this, called Marcus Chen from the excavation pit. The military engineer had been assigned to their team specifically for discoveries like this. His cybernetic arm gleamed in the artificial lights as he gestured toward the exposed section of the structure. The thermal imaging shows this thing extends down at least 300 meters. It's not just big, it's massive. Alina climbed down the metal ladder they had installed along the pit wall. The structure before them defied easy description. The surface appeared to be made of a dark crystalline material that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Geometric patterns covered every visible inch, forming intricate designs that hurt to look at directly. The patterns seemed to shift and move when viewed from different angles, creating an optical illusion that made her eyes water. "Have you tried scanning the interior?" Alina asked, running her gloved hand along the alien surface. The material felt warm despite the sub-zero temperatures, and she could swear she felt a faint vibration running through it. Marcus nodded toward his equipment set up. "That's the problem. Every scan we try just bounces back. It's like the hull is designed to deflect all forms of electromagnetic radiation. We can't see inside, we can't determine structural integrity, and we can't find an entry point." Dr. Yuki Tanaka emerged from the command trailer, her breath forming clouds in the frigid air. The xenobiology specialist had been working non-stop since the discovery, trying to determine if the structure was truly alien in origin. "Alina, the molecular analysis confirms what we suspected. This isn't just non-terrestrial, it's completely outside our understanding of materials science. The crystalline matrix shouldn't be stable under normal physics." "What do you mean, shouldn't be stable?" Alina asked, though she suspected she didn't want to hear the answer. "The atomic structure is held together by forces we can't identify. It's like the materials are frozen in time, preserved in a state that defies entropy. Whatever civilization built this had technology so advanced that our instruments can barely detect it, let alone understand it." Captain Sarah Mitchell approached the group, her military bearing evident even in the bulky Arctic gear. "Dr. Kowalski, I need to remind you that we're operating under strict protocols here. If this is what we think it is, we need to consider the security implications." Alina understood the captain's concerns. First contact with an alien civilization was humanity's greatest hope and greatest fear. The protocols were clear. Any evidence of non-human intelligence was to be contained, studied, and reported through proper channels. But standing before this impossible structure, Alina felt the weight of a discovery that could change everything. "We need to find a way inside," Alina said finally. "We can't learn anything meaningful from surface scans." Marcus activated a handheld device that projected a 3-dimensional map of the structure. "I've been working on that. The geometric patterns aren't just decorative, there's some kind of interface system. Watch this." He pressed his palm against a specific section of the crystalline surface, and the patterns began to glow with a soft blue light. The change was immediate and startling. The section of wall markers had touched began to dissolve, not like melting ice, but like smoke dispersing in the wind. Within moments, an opening large enough for a person to walk through had formed in the seemingly solid barrier. "That's not possible," Yuki whispered, but her scientific instruments confirmed what their eyes were seeing. The wall hadn't been cut or burned through. The molecular structure had simply ceased to exist in that specific area. Beyond the opening lay a corridor that seemed to stretch into infinity. Soft lighting emanated from the walls themselves, revealing a passage that was both beautiful and terrifying. The same geometric patterns covered every surface, but inside the ship they pulsed with life, creating a rhythm that seemed almost like a heartbeat. "This is active," Alina breathed. After who knows how long buried in the ice, this technology is still functional. Captain Mitchell stepped forward, her hand resting on her sidearm. "We need to proceed with extreme caution. We don't know what we're dealing with here." Alina nodded, but her scientific curiosity was already overriding her caution. She stepped through the opening, feeling a subtle change in the atmosphere as she crossed the threshold. The air inside was warmer, and she could detect the faint scent of ozone, as if the ship's systems were actively processing the environment. The corridor extended far beyond what should have been possible given the structure's surface dimensions. The walls curved gently upward, creating the impression of walking through the inside of a vast tube. Every few meters, alcoves branched off from the main passage, each containing equipment or displays that defied understanding. "The spatial dimensions are inconsistent with external measurements," Marcus reported, his instruments struggling to make sense of the readings. "Either our equipment is malfunctioning, or this ship is bigger on the inside than on the outside." As they ventured deeper into the vessel, the geometric patterns on the walls began to change. The pulsing light grew brighter, and new symbols appeared among the familiar designs. Alina had studied ancient languages and symbol systems throughout her career, but these markings were unlike anything in human history. "It's responding to our presence," Yuki observed, her voice filled with wonder and fear. "The ship is scanning us, learning from us." They reached a circular chamber that served as a junction point for multiple corridors. At the center of the room stood a pedestal supporting what appeared to be a crystalline sphere. The sphere pulsed with the same rhythm as the walls, but as the team approached, its glow intensified. "Don't touch anything," Captain Mitchell warned, but Alina was already moving toward the pedestal. Something about the sphere called to her, as if it had been waiting for someone to find it. As Alina reached out toward the crystal, the sphere suddenly blazed with light, the entire chamber filled with a harmonic tone that seemed to resonate in their bones. The geometric patterns on the walls began moving faster, creating a dizzying display of light and shadow. Then, without warning, the light coalesced into a form that made them all step back in shock. Standing before them was a figure that was unmistakably alien, yet somehow familiar. Tall and graceful, with features that suggested both wisdom and immense age. The being regarded them with eyes that held the depth of stars. "Welcome, children of Earth," the figure spoke, though its lips didn't move. The words formed directly in their minds, carrying with them emotions and concepts that human language couldn't express. "I am the Sentinel, guardian of this vessel and keeper of ancient knowledge. You have awakened me from a sleep that has lasted for millennia." Alina found her voice first. "Who are you? What is this place?" The Sentinel's form shimmered, as it processed her question. I am the last remnant of a civilization that walked among the stars when your world was young. We were the architects, builders of impossible things, gardeners of reality itself. This vessel is both tomb and treasure, a legacy left for those who would follow in our footsteps. Why is it here? Marcus asked, his engineer's mind trying to understand the purpose behind such an incredible creation. Because we foresaw the end of our time and the beginning of yours. We scattered vessels like this across the galaxy, each one containing the knowledge and tools necessary for younger species to transcend their limitations. But not all species are worthy of such gifts. Captain Mitchell stepped forward, her military training taking over. What do you mean worthy? The Sentinel's eyes fixed on her, and Alina felt a chill that had nothing to do with the Arctic cold. To inherit our legacy, a species must prove itself capable of growth, cooperation, and wisdom. They must demonstrate that they can use power responsibly, that they can overcome their base instincts and work together for the greater good. And if they can't, Alina asked, though she dreaded the answer, then they are not ready, and the knowledge remains sealed until they are. The Sentinel's form began to fade slightly. Your species stands at a crossroads. Children of Earth, you have discovered technologies that could elevate you to heights unimaginable or destroy you utterly. The choice is yours, but first you must prove yourselves worthy. The chamber around them began to change, walls shifting and rearranging themselves into new configurations. The trial begins now, the Sentinel announced. You will face 3 challenges that will test the qualities that define your species. Only by succeeding together can you unlock the gifts we have prepared for you. Alina felt her heart racing as the implications sank in. This wasn't just an archaeological discovery. This was humanity's final exam, administered by a civilization so advanced that they had transcended physical existence itself. The future of the human race might depend on what happened in the next few hours. What kind of challenges? Yuki asked, her scientific mind already working to understand the parameters of their situation. The first will test your ability to overcome physical limitations through ingenuity and cooperation. The second will challenge your capacity for strategic thinking under pressure. The third will determine whether you can make the ultimate sacrifice for the greater good. The Sentinel's voice carried both warning and hope. Succeed, and your species will inherit technologies that will allow you to join the community of starfaring civilizations. Fail, and this knowledge will remain sealed until you are ready to try again. The chamber completed its transformation, revealing 3 doorways that hadn't been there before. Each door bore different symbols that pulsed with their own unique rhythm. Alina looked at her team, seeing the same mix of fear and determination in their faces that she felt in her own heart. Together, she asked. Marcus nodded, flexing his cybernetic arm. Together, Yuki checked her instruments one final time. For humanity. Captain Mitchell drew her weapon, not in threat, but in readiness. Let's show them what humans are made of. As they approached the first doorway, Alina couldn't help but wonder if they were about to make history or witness the end of human potential. The Sentinel watched them with ancient eyes, and she realized that somewhere in the vast cosmos, other civilizations had likely faced this same test. Some had succeeded and joined the galactic community. Others had failed and remained isolated on their home worlds. Now it was humanity's turn to prove itself worthy of the stars. Part 2, The Trial. The first challenge began the moment they stepped through the doorway. The chamber beyond defied the laws of physics even more dramatically than the corridor they had left behind. They found themselves standing on a platform suspended in what appeared to be open space, surrounded by a three-dimensional maze of interconnected spheres, each glowing with its own internal light. Your first trial tests your ability to work together to overcome seemingly impossible obstacles. The Sentinel's voice echoed around them. Before you lies a navigation puzzle that has defeated many species throughout the ages. The goal is simple: reach the center sphere and retrieve the key that waits there. The challenge is that each sphere responds only to specific combinations of your unique abilities. Alina studied the maze spread out before them. Hundreds of spheres floated in the void, connected by beams of light that seemed solid enough to walk on. Some spheres pulsed red, others blue, and a few glowed with shifting colors that seemed to follow no pattern she could discern. Marcus was already analyzing the structure with his cybernetic implants. The light bridges aren't stable. They're responding to different energy signatures. Look. He pointed to a blue sphere near their platform. That one's resonating with my cybernetic systems. The red ones might respond to biological signatures. Yuki activated her portable scanner, immediately detecting patterns in the energy flows. Marcus is right. The spheres are programmed to respond to different types of consciousness and technology. We need to map out a path that utilizes all our different capabilities. Captain Mitchell observed the maze with tactical precision. This isn't just about reaching the center. It's about proving we can coordinate our efforts and trust each other completely. One wrong step, and we all fall. Alina felt the weight of leadership settling on her shoulders. Then we do this systematically. Yuki, can you identify which spheres respond to which team members? Already working on it, Yuki replied, her instruments painting different sections of the maze with color-coded overlays. The blue spheres respond to technological integration like Marcus's implants. The red ones resonate with pure biological consciousness. The green ones seem to require emotional resonance, and the purple ones respond to collective decision-making. The path became clear as they studied the pattern. They would need to move through the maze in a specific sequence, with each team member taking the lead when their particular abilities were required. More importantly, they would need to trust each other completely, as a single misstep would strand them all in the void. Marcus stepped onto the first light bridge leading to a blue sphere. The bridge solidified under his feet, responding to his cybernetic implants. As he reached the sphere, it blazed with light and revealed a new set of bridges leading deeper into the maze. This sphere is showing me calculations, Marcus called back to the team. Complex engineering equations that I need to solve to activate the next section. Alina watched as Marcus worked, his cybernetic arm interfacing directly with the sphere's systems. Within moments, he had solved the puzzle, and new light bridges appeared, leading to red spheres that pulsed with biological energy. Yuki, you're up, Alina called. The xenobiologist moved with confident grace across the light bridges, her natural intuition guiding her through the biological resonance challenges. Each sphere she activated revealed new aspects of the maze, creating a path that required all of them to succeed. As they progressed deeper into the maze, the challenges became more complex. The purple spheres required them to make decisions as a group, with each choice affecting the entire structure. The green spheres responded to their emotional states, requiring them to maintain hope and determination even as the maze seemed to shift around them. This is incredible, Alina breathed as they approached the center sphere. It's not just testing our individual abilities. It's testing our capacity for unity, for thinking as one organism, while maintaining our individual strengths. The center sphere was larger than the others, pulsing with a golden light that seemed to contain the warmth of a star. As they all stepped onto the final platform together, the sphere opened to reveal a crystalline key that sparkled with inner fire. "The first trial is complete," the sentinel announced as they retrieved the key. "You have demonstrated the ability to combine your individual talents into something greater than the sum of its parts. This is the foundation of all advanced civilizations." The maze dissolved around them, and they found themselves back in the central chamber, facing the second doorway. This one bore symbols that seemed to shift and change as they watched, suggesting challenges that would test their adaptability and strategic thinking. The second challenge placed them in a room that resembled a war council chamber. Holographic displays surrounded them, showing star maps, fleet movements, and tactical scenarios that were constantly evolving. At the center of the room stood a command console that pulsed with urgent red light. "Your second trial tests your ability to make critical decisions under pressure," the sentinel explained. "You are now the commanders of a fleet defending your homeworld from an invasion force. The enemy is technologically superior, but they have underestimated human creativity and determination. You must devise a strategy that uses your unique advantages to overcome their superior firepower." The holographic displays showed a grim scenario. Earth was under attack by a massive alien fleet equipped with weapons that could obliterate entire continents. Humanity's forces were outnumbered 10-1, with inferior technology and limited resources. Traditional military strategies would result in certain defeat. Captain Mitchell took the lead, her military training kicking in as she analyzed the tactical situation. "We can't win through conventional warfare. We need to think outside the box, use strategies they won't expect." Marcus studied the technical specifications of both fleets. Their ships are more advanced, but they're also more complex. More complexity means more potential failure points. If we could find a way to exploit their own technology against them. Yuki examined the biological data on the invading species. They're hive-minded, operating through collective consciousness. That's their strength, but it's also their weakness. They can't adapt quickly to individual creativity and unpredictable behavior. Alina synthesized their observations into a strategy that was both brilliant and desperate. "We don't fight their fleet directly. We use small, fast ships to infiltrate their formation while broadcasting chaotic signals that disrupt their hive mind coordination. Then we exploit the confusion to target their command ships." The simulation played out their strategy in real time. It was a high-risk approach that required perfect timing and coordination, but it worked. The alien fleet, confused by the chaotic signals and unable to coordinate effectively, was defeated by humanity's superior adaptability and willingness to take calculated risks. "The second trial is complete," the sentinel announced. "You have proven that intelligence and creativity can triumph over brute force, that adaptation and unity can overcome seemingly impossible odds." As they approached the third doorway, Alina felt a growing sense of anticipation mixed with dread. The symbols on this door were different from the others, depicting images of sacrifice and transformation. Whatever waited beyond this threshold would test them in ways they couldn't yet imagine. The final chamber was smaller than the others, containing only a simple altar with 2 crystals resting upon it. One crystal pulsed with warm golden light, while the other seemed to absorb light into its dark depths. Standing before the altar was another figure, identical to the sentinel but somehow different, as if it represented a choice that had yet to be made. Your final trial tests the most important quality of any sapient species, the Sentinel announced. The willingness to sacrifice for the greater good. Before you lie to choices, the golden crystal will grant your species immediate access to advanced technology, but it will also make you dependent on our gifts. The dark crystal will give you the knowledge to develop these technologies yourself, but the process will take generations and require great sacrifice. Alina stared at the crystals, understanding immediately what they represented. The golden crystal was the easy path, instant gratification that would elevate humanity, but leave them forever dependent on the architect's legacy. The dark crystal was the harder path, requiring them to earn their advancement through struggle and sacrifice. If we choose the golden crystal, what happens to human development? She asked. You become advanced servants rather than true inheritors, the Sentinel replied. You will have the tools but not the understanding. You will be powerful but not wise. Captain Mitchell stepped forward. And if we choose the dark crystal, you will face centuries of struggle and hardship. Many will die in the pursuit of knowledge. Your species will be tested again and again. But if you succeed, you will become something truly remarkable, equals to the architects themselves. Alina looked at her team, seeing the same understanding in their eyes that she felt in her heart. This wasn't really a choice at all. It was a test of whether humanity was ready to walk the difficult path toward true greatness. We choose the dark crystal, she said without hesitation. The moment her fingers touched the dark crystal, the chamber filled with light. Knowledge flooded into their minds, not complete understanding, but the foundation upon which understanding could be built. They saw glimpses of technologies that would take human civilization centuries to develop, pathways toward advancement that would require sacrifice and dedication from countless generations. You have chosen wisely, the Sentinel said, its form beginning to fade. The dark crystal contains not answers but questions, not solutions but challenges. Your species will face trials that will test every aspect of your nature. Some will fail, some will die, but those who succeed will become something the universe has never seen before. As the vision faded, Alina found herself back in the Arctic chamber, surrounded by her team. The alien ship was still there, but it had changed. The crystalline walls now pulsed with new patterns, and she could sense that technologies beyond imagination waited to be discovered and understood. What happens now? Marcus asked. Now we begin the real work, Alina replied. We have a responsibility to our species, to use what we've learned to guide humanity toward its true potential. As they prepared to leave the ship, Alina realized that they had become more than just archaeologists and researchers. They had become the first guardians of humanity's future, keepers of knowledge that would shape the destiny of their species for generations to come. The frozen sentinel had awakened not just to test them, but to ensure that humanity's journey to the stars would be earned through wisdom, courage, and sacrifice. The real adventure was just beginning. Asterisk.